This piece is based on Indian classical music. Indian classical music is one of the oldest musical traditions of the world, which goes back about 2000 years. It is based on rags. Rags are like scales with particular rules and regulations and moods. The first movement is the alap, which is the introduction to the rag. It's based on a devotional and spiritual and romantic mood. So I've called it Prayers of Love. Now in the alap, I've used a drone. This drone is very important. It's tuned to the main key tonic, which is, and then the fifth and octave.
We've spent most of our lives practicing scales, but of course none of them are quite rags. And the other massive challenge is that this is a very formal musical language, but it doesn't have a written notation.
If I say ra 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 ra, now you can write it down. Da ra 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 ra. But if I say ra 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 ra, now you can't write this down.
It's just like trying to learn a foreign language, but phonetically. You're learning it from the little pieces of sound and hoping at the other end it comes out something comprehensible.
The second movement, Monsoon Memories, that's where we have a definite pulse. Da 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 da. That's how we all start the movement. It's very high energy. But very soon you will see a contrast where I've taken the pulse out and then we play in free time. The pulse goes out and then I and the lead violinist, we exchange phrases, and that's played in free time, a kind of floating. In Indian music, each musician is the composer because he is made to improvise. A composition can be a melody line, say da 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 da. That's a composition. Now, based on this composition, which might be two lines, you are allowed to improvise.
This is not music of chance, although it has improvisation. It's very beautifully and formally laid out, but committed to memory on this side, and necessarily committed to some kind of a score on this side. And that took us about 2 years, trying to find a way of just creating enough of a map to remember this very subtle sound world.
In the third movement, which is a romantic journey, we have this 10-beat cycle and the melody which keeps repeating itself. Da, 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 da. So that's a 10-beat cycle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and when we clap, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Da, 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 da.
the way the piece is structured is very flexible from a Western viewpoint. A lot of it is based upon repetitions, but the repetitions, whilst they're very structured in themselves, have free-flowing phrases that cross and intertwine and weave their way in. And the magic, and indeed the part of the artistry of a man like Wajahat, is that, you know, he can sit with colleagues familiar in that world, play these phrases and do wonderful extemporized passages, and then meet like magic at the other end.
Now the fourth movement, I call it celebrations, because it's like firecrackers. This is based on a 16-beat cycle called Teen Tal, and again we have a melody. Da-da-da, da-da-da, bum bum. Da-da-da, da-da-da, bum bum. This movement can be played anything from 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how much improvisation we put in it.
It was one of the things that's very exciting when we play this to the Indian music connoisseurs. They'll recognize that everyone is going out on a limb and taking a big chance, and then there's a roar of appreciation when by magic you meet up the end. But from where we are, I have to tell you, this is quite close to rock climbing without a safety net.
Music is a performing art, and it must carry some element of excitement or performance element.